Well, guys and gals, welcome to Bob's Barn Workshop. Here's another episode. I got a little bit gung-ho and started before you. What you're seeing is the walls where the plastic shower stall liner was in the trailer cottage bathroom here. Now it's a weird size. It's only 4.5 feet instead of 5 feet wide, so the tub is an odd size. So we ended up ordering and getting a 4 foot by 32 inch walk-in shower. We're getting rid of the tub completely. So I've already ripped the plastic liner off the wall, which just took a little tugging. It's no big deal. And I'm down to the tub, which is just polyethylene or something. And I started cutting on it. This will get a little noisy. But I'm just taking the Sawzall to her. I'm going to rip my way up through. I'm trying to stay out of what's underneath. That's a little ugly, isn't it? There we go. There actually is a backup board in there. But this thing is just sitting here, pretty much. Oh, it's got foam on the bottom. I didn't cut this. But there's half of it out. And all I'm going to do around the drain is I'm going to cut around the drain with the Sawzall so I can lift that out. I haven't got the sink or the spigots disconnected from the back side yet. But I'm more worried about the drain because the spigot I can cut a hole in the sheetrock from the bedroom side. We're going to have to build the walls out. We're probably going to end up using those 2x3s. Get that sucker out. I don't think this will just screw out. It might. I might be able to stick a couple screwdrivers in there back to back and unscrew that. Alright, we'll come back after I carry this piece out. I don't know how well this is going to work or if it's going to work. But I'm going to try to spin that drain out of there. I think maybe you can take 2 screwdrivers. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill around this with the Sawzall. Not the Sawzall, I'm going to use the jigsaw instead. I'm going to make I want to break the drain, that's all. Let me try this beast. I'm going to ease the jigsaw in there now and see if I can get it to go. Okay, I didn't show you, but I just finished cutting around that with the jigsaw. This has a piece of styrofoam on the back here. Break that off. I should be able to lift this right up and out of here. Oh yeah, look at that fine plumbing job. Stuff has been leaking over the years. I gotta figure out where the drain goes. Oh, it goes over there. And comes out there. Crap. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna have to do a crap load of drain work. to get over to here to fix that. There's always a caveat, right? Always something. The drain comes up through the floor under the corner of the tub, so I'm going to have to move that back a little bit so that my shower stall drain can go down through there. But maybe I can just cut it down and come over, or I'll just run a new pipe to the septic tank. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. But it's got to go anyway. There's my vent pipe going up though, that's the bitch. So I'm going to have to tie into that vent pipe, which I can see. And so it looks like you're going to have to cut a big chunk out of the back wall here. Find the studs. Oh, there's a stud right there, so that's good. I can go on the back side in the bedroom and cut out that whole corner like that. And work it up through there. Alright, well, tub's out anyway. Decision making. We're going to pry out. We're just going to pry out this excess. If you see the little framing around the walls they added here, that piece of OSB and the little strips and stuff, that was just to support the old crappy tub. All right, I'm getting on. I'm sweating all of a sudden. All right, guys and gals, I got so busy I kind of forgot to turn the camera on. So today, if you remember how this looked in the corner, there was a V-shaped notch, there was ugly pipe coming up through here, and oh shoot, I gotta do that too. Ugly pipe coming up through here. So what I did is, we have that old gray PEX here. That stuff from when they first started making PEX. And I wanted to transition to regular plastic. Luckily the PEX, it's flexible like a hose. I found out that they actually have shark bite connectors that will transition between the gray and the yellow PVC. So I put a couple of those splices. I made a couple of 90s. Now the hole, I just cut it out square, and on the edge, I didn't put it on the center of the joist, I put it on the edge of the joist, so I just screwed a cleat on from the bottom to the side. Same thing over there. I screwed a cleat along the inside of that, level with the floor. Toe-nailed two across here, and dropped my board in after I made my 90-degree angles and poked them up through the holes as I shoved them under. So we made a little bit more progress today. So far, we got a lot more to do. We doesn't look like a heck of a lot, but we got the anti-fungal paint on the moldy sheetrock that was in there. I got that buried after we killed it with Clorox, and I coated the sanded and painted the floor there, so we're waiting for that to dry. Now this is Zinsser Mold Killing Primer. Kills existing mold, mildew, and odor-causing bacteria. Paint right over existing fungus and mold. Okay, it is actually a Rust-Oleum product. It was 15 bucks a quart, but I hope it's good. Next step here will be to bring in the base and make lines where I want the outside of it to be. Make the hole where the drain's going to be. And then where I draw my lines on the outsides, I can install my walls, bases, and then we'll plumb from there up to the ceiling. We'll brace those walls out from the existing walls. I've got to put a couple of blocks down in here because the base sill was completely rotted away. So I'm just going to put on a piece of 2x, and then we'll stack on another piece just to come up so we can hit both those studs together with some screws, just to give it a little rigidity. I don't know what else I can say here. We're getting good to go. Alright, steps moving on. Alright guys, so quick update. This is the 32 by 48 inch plastic base for the new shower. The drain hole is dead center, but instead of measuring, I took that base and I put it in here against the wall, and cut the hole for the floor. Now we painted everything with the mold proofing paint, and now we're putting in the stud walls, which we cut floor sill plates here, 2x3s up the wall. Out here I leveled this up, I put a mark. I'm going to tie that together. I got another piece of 2x4 to go in here, a couple more studs to go in the back, and 2 to go in here for this faucet. 16 inches out on center, so it's going to be out here. We just need to kind of curve our pipes. I think I can curve those pipes just by heating them. Okay, so I just want to let you know where we are. We're going back now to cut the pieces of wood we need to tie this together, and those 2 upright studs, and then we'll have to cut our 4 more, and then we'll be on our way as soon as we get this tied into the framework here. All right. Well, because these walls to shim out to make this fit don't have anything really firm to attach to, because this is just sheetrock through the ceiling. I was able to shoot some screws through the sill plate up here and get into the framing. But what I did is I linked this part of the wall to the existing wall studs with a brace like that and 4 screws, and that's never ever going anywhere. And I did it on this side too. I had to poke a hole in the sheetrock here so I could drive some screws through. But yeah, that's like the Empire State Building now. So now I just have to fit 2 studs in this back one, kind of randomly, just space them out. This one, I need to space them out wide enough that I can get my faucets in the center. Now I need to come out 16 inches, so I might push it a little bit to the left. But it'll be fine, because you just put a screw in the top of the big fiberglass wall part when it gets in here. And at the bottom, your base, you put some shim and screw it around the base into the studs. And that's what holds the base. And we're pretty darn close. What the next big problem is, I've got to cut a hole for that. The fiberglass goes to about here, so I'm going to have about 2 inches around the top is all, and so that's going to be a ball. I'm hoping that I got good enough saber saw blades that they will cut that crap. So we're coming. Level everything up. Screw it down tight. We're golden. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys and gals, night has fallen, and I'm still working on this. I've got the rest of the framing in. Yeah, I'm using the 2x3 because I didn't have enough room to put 2x4s against this wall here. I've come out 16 inches and a comfortable height to where I want to put my water valve. I actually screwed this plywood to the back of these studs before I knocked them both into place, and then I put a screw through the plywood because these wanted to waggle back and forth. I put a screw through this plywood into that stud and locked this all together nice and tight. So I'm going to finish up this plumbing tonight. I just need to bring those 2 pipes up down there. PVC plastic, you know, you cut it, you nip it, you glue it. This one looks like it'll come right straight in with a 90 right down to the hot. This one I'll probably have to come up 90 out or 90 out and swing it out and in something. You can heat this up with a heat gun too and bend the pipe. But that's where we're at for right now. And if I have a chance, I'll take some video of me putting the pipes in. Alright guys, we'll catch you later. What I'm doing here is I need to mount the head for the shower up here, and I need to screw this board in here obviously to mount it to. So put a couple screws in this side. So what I need to do is I need to get from those two valves that I put in down there, the glue's in the way. They're just stubbed up. They got some paint on them, but they'll be fine. They're just emergency valves. And I'm going to come up, oops, super zoom. I got to come up to this valve. Now, okay, my lens isn't wide angle enough to show this, but I'm going to take the tap and glue that on first. I'm just going to hold that guy up there to where I want it. Chop it off at the bottom with the tool. I might have already cleaned the top of this. It doesn't hurt to clean it again. And I think it starts kind of like a pre-glue softening of the pipe. Kind of how it feels. Alright. I will soon be able to water test. Just gently, but I like a good solid shower head. Alright, so now you screw your pipe into there. Guess what? We can do a quick water test in just a few minutes. I'm going to run a water through that and into a bucket to cleanse the lines. Water's on. We're going to do a flood the house test here. Got the valve handle. Cold, hot. A lot of flow. Water's getting hot. Okay. Now I'm just going to wait a long time to make sure we have no leaks. But I see none. We're under pressure. Alright, next step, we'll have to take this off, take the valve handle off. We've got to put the whole base and the walls in. That's another day. Okay, guys. Plumbing is done and ready. See you next time. So according to the instructions, I have dropped my base in here. I already glued. You had to put silicone around the drain and put the lock nut on from the bottom with a rubber gasket, so it's got silicone around it. Logo facing the front. Anyway, stainless steel screws I bought, number 8s. You drill an 1/8 inch pilot hole, and when I had them about 1/4 of an inch out from being all the way in, I squirted a little clear silicone around them and tightened them in. You can see it wrap right around the threads and filled the gap. I shimmed as I screwed because the top of this is real bendy like, so they just snap off out of the way. And so now the base is in, and the next step is for me to figure out how to cut that window hole out of this fiberglass back and how to locate those two holes in the sidewall accurately. Then we can drop the shower stall thing in. And I have vinyl molding that I can make to fit around that window and seal it, so we should be able to run the shower in a day or two. I've just got to figure out how to get these sidewalls in correctly and easily. So anyway, not easily, they're heavier than hell too because they're fiberglass. So that's where we stand right now. Base looks nice. It's ABS plastic molded with styrofoam fill to brace it up. That's the same way our shower stall in the barn is. This is a Maxx, which is the same brand too. So we'll back up here just a little bit so I can get the view. New toilet. I got a brand new toilet and I got a brand new vanity we're going to put in here. Alright. Okay, so I took some very, very precise, careful measurements. This is the back panel to my shower stall. And after I took the measurements, it had the clear plastic protective coating on it, so I left that, but I put tape on it anyway. And I made my markings with a Sharpie so they were nice and bold. And I cut it with a slow speed jigsaw with a metal cutting blade. I bought a Bosch metal cutting blade and it cut it just fine. I just had to go slow. I left the corners attached just a little bit. I drilled 3/8 holes in each corner, and then I left a little tag in each corner instead of cutting all the way, and then at the end I just nipped them all so it fell out. So there's my piece. It's cut out. Now what I'm doing now is this, I told you this only has about 1 inch before it hits the ceiling in my bathroom, and in the instructions it says you have to lift the side panels up 3 inches to drop them into these little hooks. I don't have that, so what I've done is I've nipped off these hooks so that they're just where the knob is going to drop in, and that'll be fine, because once those drop in and clip together, this thing is locked, and so we'll be fine. They want you to test fit them all, but I got such a small bathroom, I'm thinking I'm just going to go for the gusto and stick the sucker in there. I don't know. Alright guys and gals, well, we have the back panel test fitted. And just a screw in the top corner there. I have one clue for you. How I fit the base is I just set the base in there and I traced lines on each end of it to put the base, give it about an extra 1/4 inch on each side, because what happened is trying to get this part of the flange in here, it was too tight. So I had to loosen these screws and knock this corner and loosen that screw and knock those corners over. So you got to give yourself a little more room there than just tight right against this. And don't put screws right in the very bottom corner down there, because the head of the screw was hitting the corner of the flange when I was trying to put it in. So it doesn't really need it. I got this end piece fitted here. It does fit nice. We finally got it in. So I just got to pop those 2 holes for these, and we can we have to take these back out just so we can caulk it and then drop it back in. Alright guys and gals, so here we are. This is where we're at. We have the back panel in with just 1 screw to hold it in position. We have test fit both holes. Measure twice, cut once for the shower head and the shower knob. So all that's left is we need to set this back in with we got to take it all apart and put the silicone on the bottom of the rim as we go around, and then set it on. And there's also a bead that goes down the corners here inside before you assemble. And then we just, after that's got 3 screws across the top, you put a couple of screws in here and in the edge here, and she's all done. Other than I'm going to trim this out with that solid vinyl. This is that vinyl wood that you can get like at Lowe's or Home Depot. I've got to make a filler here and put my trim around the hole. And on the front here, I might have already said this, I'm going to take some of that wood and I'm going to make just like an L shape, put pre-assembled first, I think, and put it right up the front. And then for that cracker on the top, I'm just going to have to cut a piece however wide that is. And I think I'm just going to caulk up here, and I'm just going to push it in and let the silicone hold it. I don't want to have to fill nail holes. Alright, I love it. And it looks beautiful too, isn't it? We got kind of bronze colored door frames, but it was the only thing we could find that would be this. But now we got rid of that crappy old tub, and we got a nice shower. Alright, I'll show you when we get it assembled. There's no room in here to run a camera and have 2 people. My wife has helped me lift the panels in, but as I said, we're going to run caulking around the bottom, lift the back edge, drop it in the hole, put the screws to her. After we get the sides pushed in and screwed, then I'll finish putting the screws in the top back. Alright, so we got to take it all out. Alright guys and gals, so we have the 4 panels, or 3 panels, and what you had to do is put the back panel in first, put some caulking along the bottom and out like a little L, screwed it in place. I dropped this place in. You had to put caulking up the corner back edge of this, which overlaps about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, to pre-caulk that, and along the bottom again, so this sits on it. That one's screwed in. Drilled my holes, caulk that side, caulk the bottom, drop this one in, put the screws into her. It is what it is. A little more work on the shower today. The instructions for this shower door are extremely vague, but I got the first track on the left hand side of the door, and they give you a template to locate the screw holes for this end of the beam. So I've got that up. But I wanted to get this window trimmed out first. So all I did is I measured around here, and I decided that 1 1/16" was the correct offset for this. So I've just put some white silicone, GE silicone on there first. I cut this on my little table saw. I used the smooth rounded edge of this vinyl plastic stuff. And I put the brads back to the edge so that when I overlap my trim, I won't have trim nails to fill. To fill. I'll just have trim nails. So when that silicone dries, that's going to be glued on there. So there you go. The window extension is on, and we're going to put the trim on next. Which again, caulking. So I don't know if I did a before and after for this window, but before there was a full 4-inch piece of this vinyl board, which you can get it at Lowe's. You got to search back in the trim section, and it's just 3/4 inch solid vinyl, smooth and shiny, and never needs painting, blah blah blah. Well, I used to have a full 3/4 inch by 3.5 inch frame around this window, and of course it was recessed in 1 inch. I got looking at that and I said, you know, if I cut the inside rim of that off and cut it down to 3/8 of an inch, I still have exactly the same frame, but smaller, more petite kind of looking. And I can use what's left to the outside, which I used to cut this 1-inch filler strip in. So that's how I did that. Alright, so how did we finish the top grooves? Because it was such a narrow groove, I cut pieces of the vinyl wood, and I put a good thick bead of silicone caulk on the lip and behind it and just cut it rather tight and drove it in. Now you can see that this side especially, the roof isn't level. Hey, it's an old house trailer. It is what it is. But it's filled, it's trimmed, it's white. Nobody's ever going to care. I don't care. My other trim is going to butt right up against it up here. And the nails are covered. I think she looks pretty good with all the trim on the window and the thing. Now we just have to do the front edges. But I got to work on that dang door. So no fasteners holding that in. I'm just letting the caulking cement it in place. And I'll tell you what, when that silicone caulking dries, it will be cemented in place. There will be no doubt about that. There's no worry of a water getting up behind it because the water's not going to splash that high anyway. And if it did, there's a lip, you know, that goes up. So I'm really not concerned that it's going to get up behind that. And if you're splashing water up on the ceiling, I guess you're having a really good time in the shower. All right, we're getting there. So the next step after this, believe it or not, would be we can either change the toilet and the vanity and put our new flooring in out to the door threshold, and that'll finish up this bathroom. But the next thing before we can start working on the whole flooring throughout the whole building is to tear out this whole old kitchen, which is just made out of crap, and put in the new cabinets I'm building at home. So check those videos out too. Oh my gosh, we've been working on this shower stall thing, and what a misery. You got to try to have this stiff glass while you push a bunch of washers up behind here, while you screw this knob into a nut that's calfed in there that you can't see anymore because it's covered up by this big nut. And oh, we got the thing put together and we didn't put the door that goes on the inside there, and couldn't get it through the opening, so we had to take it apart again. Yeah, it's been a nightmare. This is a Utile brand. I call it Futile. All right, anyway, we're getting there though. We got the top rail. Of course, you saw me do the filling in the window. I got this side down. That's the first thing you do. The bottom tapes. You have to wait 24 hours after you glue down the guide, so that's why we're finished for the night. All right, guys. See you later. All right. Well, here we are. I let that cleat dry overnight on the bottom there for the window catch, the door catch. I set the door up on its track. I adjusted these wheels. There's some off-center cams. They give you a little tool from the back, a little wrench, to turn the cam to level the door so that it comes up against the wall here straight. And I still can do a little tweaking. You need to put the door handle in. There's a magnetic strip that goes down here that is actually how that door seals. Got the seals on the edges of the glass. I think you saw all the rest of the trim out, so I need to put the escutcheon plates on the knobs. That can be done anytime. All that's left to do is, as I said, there's a magnetic strip I need to put down this wall, and there's a little bead that goes here on the bottom that is like a dam to keep the water, and then I got to caulk it all. I'm just going to use clear caulk and put it in, and don't put my finger on it, because you put your finger on it, you smear it out, then you make it even worse. Alright guys, we are finally done with this miserable door installation. Got the handle on, got the door hung, got this strip installed down the wall, which according to the instructions, you just slide the door over, make some marks, put the track on first, and then the plastic with the magnetic strip slides over. This is apparently steel. It's attracted, keeps the door closed. I just taped down and added that little strip at the bottom, which you glue down with silicone. It's the threshold to keep the water from just trickling out. So that'll be caulked all around there. The only caulking I got left, well, this is caulked behind. So I caulked behind that, I don't need to recaulk that. I caulked behind that, I don't need to recaulk that. I caulked all these joints when I put them together. I really don't see any reason I need to recaulk everything. The only part I can see that could be recaulked, oh, I just cut my tape, holding down the threshold thing, is the back side of this, but this was peel and stick. So what we'll do is we'll try it and see if it leaks. If it don't leak, don't fix it. But I think I might go around the edge of the base and up the two corners. You didn't see me install this, but I put caulking behind all this when I installed it. So a lot of this might be redundant to what we already talked about. Sorry if it is. Alright. All I got left is the plastic wood that goes on here, but I can't put that on until I get my floor in. Alright, so that's it for now.